Moonlight pours through the broad skylights above the Kepler High School pool and onto the back of Calvin Owens. Moonlight pours through the broad skylights above the Kepler High School pool. He cuts quiet laps through the water, training vigorously for the Pocahontas County swim meet, just 4 days away. A window over the stacked-up bleachers is propped open by a duffel bag containing a change of clothes, evidence of Calvin's trespassing in pursuit of a few dozen more practice laps. He breaches the surface and clings to the edge of the pool, panting. He reaches up with trembling, tired fingers and peels off his goggles and cap, then lays his head down on crossed arms, attempting to catch his breath before pushing his luck for one last set. And for a moment, he is surrounded with silence, floating in the waters that would be his proving grounds in just a few short days. He pushes his nerves aside, and granting himself a moment of weightless serenity, Calvin Owens exhales a long, contented sigh. And then he is pulled violently below the surface of the water. And now the silence of the gym is nearly absolute. There's just the soft rustling of the pine trees outside and the small ripples that remain on the surface of the pool, which lap lazily against its edges. And then a splash as Calvin resurfaces, gulping air into his burning lungs as he lunges toward the ladder out of the pool. He leaps onto the edge and scrambles up the side of the bleachers, his body aching with exhaustion, and yanks his bag out of the propped open window, swinging his leg over its sill. But before he makes his escape, his curiosity consumes him. He pauses and surveys the waters below. His mind cannot comprehend what it sees. The surface of the water grows convex, lurching upward from the center of the pool and pulling away from its perimeter. It grows slowly like this until it forms a mound that reaches 10 feet above its former surface, and then, without warning, this shape begins moving in Calvin's direction. The window slams shut as Calvin springs outside. He hits the ground running and vanishes into the trees that surround his school. The nearly full moon over Kepler, West Virginia illuminates this scene from its ambivalent place in the twilight sky.
Whoa, I'm being sucked into a portal. I'm going all the way from West Virginia to... Oh.
West Virginia, yeah.
Oh, man, I'm being sucked, too. I'm going to West Virginia, too.
We're both being sucked.
We're being sucked.
Dad, are you being sucked?
No,
Yeah.
and I wouldn't admit it if I was.
And I'm the portal master who made the suck.
Griffin, why did you transport me to the state I'm already in?
Technically, you're 45 minutes east or so of where you are, so that's exotic.
There's all those warrants, too, Juice. You can't really cross state lines.
Yeah, and now you're in pepperoni roll country, baby.
Ooh.
This is pepperoni roll country right here.
The official snack.
I'm there. I'm living it.
So it's Max Fun Drive, and it's our first episode kind of back in Amnesty. What we officially know now is season 2. And hey, who here remembers what Amnesty was all about? Because it's been 3 months?
I think it was all about a young woman named Aubrey Little.
And her journey and two sort of side characters, sort of ancillary characters supporting
there to
her
make
in
her look
quest.
good.
Sure.
And also, here's a really fun thing, because you often see this, like, when you go from pilot to season. I can't remember what Aubrey's voice sounded like, so it's going to be, like, completely different now, probably.
Also, because you're sick, it's going to... Now Travis has the episode 1 sickness. Would you all like a quick refresher on what this is all about, and then we can talk about what the Max Fun Drive is, and then start doing the episode?
Yes.
I agree.
You all are in Kepler, West Virginia. It's the setting for this story, where all of you have kind of been collected. Ned, you lived in town already. You run a sort of local cryptid museum called the Cryptonomica. And Duck, you've lived here has Duck lived here his whole life?
Yeah, I think so.
So far.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so Ned works at the Cryptonomica. Duck works at the Monongahela National Forest as a
And
park
we're
ranger.
buddies. We're friends.
And you're buddies? Well, you're all friends now, I think, or at least casual acquaintances.
No, apparently I'm a sidekick to Aubrey.
That's correct.
I was goofing. Come on, you're all important in God's eyes. And Aubrey, you are a traveling sort of magician starting her career who was brought to Kepler when she developed actual magic powers, and
That's the twist, right? Because before now, she was doing stage magic, but then what's that? Actual magic? No one's ever done that before in a story. Y'all welcome.
actual practical magic.
Yeah.
So you all sort of came to know Mama, who is the proprietor of the Amnesty Lodge. It's actually just Amnesty Lodge. I need to stop saying the Amnesty Lodge. That's like calling it like the Motel 6. That's weird, right?
Wait, is Amnesty
sequel to
Lodge a chain? Are there other Amnesty Lodges around?
No, there's just this one, and it plays home to a number of monsters who hail from a world called Sylvain, which is
We
accessible.
still need to come up with a better word than like abominations and monsters. Alternative beings.
Alternative
I thought we had bombs.
bomb bombs.
Bomb
It's
bombs
all
got voted
terrible.
down.
Which Sylvain is accessible through a stone archway, which is in the middle of the woods. And every 2 months or so, when the full moon, around the time of the full moon, these big, nasty monsters called abominations come out. And it's up to the Pine Guard to defeat them quietly, because nobody else can know about Sylvain's existence, because what would happen if you found out there was a world full of monsters that was connected to our own? There would be chaos.
I would feel very satisfied, very vindicated.
Sure, there would certainly be people like that, but the reason for the secrecy that the Pine Guard operates under is because they are worried about, war. And so y'all slayed a monster, slayed an abomination, and won the day. And Mama sort of disappeared on some sort of secret mission. Duck sort of had a conversation with Minerva, who is his invisible friend. It's visible to him. She's visible to him, but to nobody else. And we learned that she's somewhere. Exists somewhere. And in the last scene, Ned, you found out that Kirby posted the video of the real Bigfoot Barclay fighting a bobcat, which is a small cat. And I'm very sorry. I didn't know. I confused bobcat and mountain lion. It happens to the best
I knew
of
that
us.
the whole time, and I thought you were doing that on purpose, like it was a monster version of a bobcat.
I thought it was an oversized. Yeah.
There we go. Because
Matter
the
of fact,
monster,
I think you would even call it a Robert cat because it was
a
so much
Robert
bigger.
cat. The monster fluid got in the bobcat, turned into a monster. Okay. Any questions before we hop in?
How long has it been since the...
It's been 2 months. We're kind of getting to the next sort of monster cycle, which comes every 2 months or so. So we're going to do like a quick catch-up scene with all of you, and then not go 5 episodes before getting you all together. I'm going to do that sort of after we do like a little catch-up, because I want to know what your characters have been doing in this place for the last 2 months.
So what time of year is it?
It's October.
Ooh, spooky.
Yeah, the spookiest month historically. Let's talk about the Max Fun Drive though before we do the story.
Well, so
because-
there are monsters in the world, and we need your support to stop those monsters. How do you do it?
Right.
You go to MaximumFun.org/donate, and then you become a member, and with your monthly pledges, we take that money and we turn it into dead monsters.
Yeah, we have monster sword, not the cool monsters. The cool monsters can hang.
If they're chill.
If they're chill, and like some of them are. I saw a vampire the other day. He was listening to Train on his car radio and just enjoying the air conditioner. I was like, yeah, you can hang.
Fine. Yeah.
Heavily tinted windows, obviously.
Heavily tinted windows, and I put my glaive away. We're going to talk more about the Max Fun Drive, but let's get into it.
Yeah.
Maximum
But just
Fun.
go to MaximumFun.org/donate right this second.
Let's start with Aubrey. Aubrey, When last we saw you, you were kind of banged up from the monster encounter. It's been 2 months. I imagine you have recovered since then. And it's October now, and in the last 2 months, Mama has not returned yet from whatever mission she embarked on. But with her sort of last letter, she implored you to stay at Amnesty Lodge and help them in their plight while you sort of discover the truth of your magic powers. So I am curious to hear what Aubrey's been doing for the last 2 months, and then in there maybe we can find like a scene that we can do.
She's been binging Netflix, just really taking some her time, not doing much.
Watching Stranger Things for like strategic tips and stuff?
No, mostly just like cooking shows and documentary. No, she has been practicing.
Zumbo's Just Desserts. I'm pretty sure Zumbo is a cryptid because no human can make cakes like that.
I picture, like, with Barclay's help, like, setting up, kind of straw men, and doing some, like, target practice, flinging spells and trying to really control it and being able to do it without having, like, the spreading danger and really trying to find, like, where the line is of the power and, like, how much she can rely on it.
Okay. So just practicing your magic ability. Is it going well?
I would say it is passably well. Here's another thing I want to, just like last time, I want the characters to use the restroom. I also don't want this to be like in Doctor Strange where it's like, oh, now I get it, and now I'm super awesome at magic.
No, yeah, I think that's probably how it would work, right? Like,
yeah,
it's not something you just like, oh, now I'm a master magician.
I would also say that maybe in there she's been like learning about Sylvain, and she's been learning about the alternative people, the alternative beings in the lodge, and so she's been maybe cozying up to Danny a little bit as a bit of like, now tell me about them. Now what's going on here?
All right, we can do that. We can do that scene. Like I think that would be good. I think you doing target practice would be cool too. But I think that you just like having a conversation about Sylvain and stuff might be good. So how about this? You and Danny are in the woods, just not too far from the lodge. I think it's probably in sight. There's a creek that runs along behind Amnesty Lodge. Damn it.
Uh-huh.
And the two of you are out there just sort of hiking around. I think Danny's sort of been helping you get acclimated to Kepler first and foremost. Like this is a town that you have not lived in, and so you're sort of still trying to wrap your head around the landscape and sort of what the town's all about. And the two of you are looking for ramps. Do ramps exist in October? I think it's a springtime food. But because of the magic from the gateway...
Oh, I thought you meant like sick, like bicycle ramps. We're going to skateboard off some ramps.
No, like the tasty onions.
I don't know what that is.
Oh, it's like an Appalachian delicacy.
Okay.
Okay, anyway.
There's a ramp festival every year.
There's a ramp festival, but I think it's in spring. But because of the magic of the Stone Gate, they also grow in October.
Could we also be looking for sick skateboarding ramps?
Yeah, I think you're looking for both. Okay. Do you know...
Only if you have Jake Cool Ice with you.
I think Jake Cool Ice heard you were going out for looking for ramps, and he showed up with his shorts and his cool board.
Oh, Jake.
And his knee pads and helmet, because he's safe. And then Danny was like, no, they're onions. Barclay wanted them for cooking. And he's like, oh, well, I can't grind on those. And he went back inside, and he cried in his room.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Oh, no. You hate to hear that.
So the two of you are out in the woods looking for these stinky onions, and you are talking to her about Sylvain.
Also, just a picture, I've been imagining this kind of like training exercise that's also become like a nervous fidget for her, where it's like a little flame on the tip of her index finger that she passes back and forth between index fingers.
All right, I dig that.
Yeah, so kind of controlling.
So are you doing that right now?
Yeah.
Okay, so what do you want to know from Danny about Sylvain?
Okay, so one more time, tell me again. You are a...
Well, I guess I'm Sylvan, like 100%. There's sort of different types of beings over there.
Yeah, but like a werewolf, vampire.
I know, I get what you're... See, those are your terms, and it's weird because you kind of have those terms because we came over and you made them up, but I guess I mean I guess a lot of us would be vampires, not in the way that, not like the Dracula type. I can't turn into bats. I can do some cool stuff, but like, vampire. Sharp teeth when I need them. And she, what's she have? I think she has a ring, and she takes that off, and you see her like her sylvan form where she has those sharp teeth and kind of orange eyes. Not exactly like the two-fanged vamp that we kind of know about, but she transforms in front of your eyes. She's like, yeah, so vampire. Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Okay, so this is a weird question, but is there any way to recognize, like, without someone taking off their accessory, say like, oh yeah, that's a Bigfoot, that's a vampire, that's a...
No, I mean, that's why they exist. They help us sort of live here. I mean, you don't need like a Voight-Kampff test on this. It's pretty much just the folks living in Amnesty Lodge. I feel like a lot of people saw Men in Black and then just assumed that there were like aliens and monsters walking. No, it's pretty much just us. It would be tough to sort of... It's tough to survive in this world without a little bit of help, and Amnesty Lodge sort of provides that to us. So specifically, I think the most important thing you need to know, and I know you're curious about how the Sylvans work, but we can't really live without some sort of sustaining life force. And
food. Well,
it could be food. There's traces of that stuff in there, but in Sylvain, we all sort of subsist on Sylvain itself on the planet. And
you eat the dirt?
No, we don't eat the dirt. We just sort of absorb its energy.
Like photosynthesis.
Yeah, I guess if you want to frame it like that, it's a little bit like photosynthesis. And obviously over here we don't get that, and so I think that's why you get a lot of the vampire biting, feeding, that stuff that has happened sometimes and has been kind of unfortunate and has painted a pretty bad picture of me and how I sort of live.
So do you have to bounce over from time to time and like recharge and come back?
She looks a little sad when you say that. She's like, I can't go back, Aubrey. I'm in exile. We're forbidden. Yeah.
I'm sorry. Yeah.
Once you leave Sylvain, you're not really allowed to cross back over. But anyway, no. The springs behind Amnesty Lodge, the hot springs. Yeah, those have enough juice, I think, for a lot of us to keep going. So quick soak in there, and I'm good to go. So
would you want to go take a soak in the springs? I mean, if you don't, I know we have to get the ramps. So if you don't, you know what? Never mind. Forget it.
She reaches down and grabs like there's two really close together, which is I don't know how ramps work, but I'm going to say it's an uncommon occurrence, and she pulls them up. And I think y'all have like a healthy bounty. She's like, no, that sounds great. Let's get these over to Barclay, get him working on that, whatever he's going to make. These things stink like hell, but I'm sure he's going to make them taste very good. And let's go for a dip.
Sick.
Duck.
Yep.
Duck, it's been 2 months since the events, since the last hunt. What have you been up to? I think Minerva's still showing up on a fairly regular basis. I thought it might be interesting if through the two of you just like figuring it out, if she managed to find a way to show up at like a regular time, like 6:14 p.m. sometime in the evening, and I can leave it to you to decide, but just like that now it's consistent. Now Minerva shows up and you know what time she's going to show up. It is not this like random visit thing. She now has a scheduled time.
She shows up just in time to watch Wheel with you.
Yeah, she's dialed it in. She catches the back half of Wheel, and it's probably not for like a super long time, but like how do you feel about that?
Yeah, that makes sense to me. Probably in the evening. I feel like you said 6:14 kind of randomly, but I think that feels right. 6:14 every night.
All right, I think Minerva shows up at 6:14 every night, checks in. I think you still got Beacon, and that's what it is.
And I think Duck has been like he's still doing his day to day. I think he probably jogs places more often than he used to stroll, like trying to sort of casually get a little bit more physically fit. I think maybe in the woods once in a great while he'll sort of like practice with Beacon, when he's sure no one is around to look, to sort of, knock the dust off a little bit, but it's not like his prime focus.
Hey, he's got a fucking job.
He's got a 9 to 5. Yeah.
Has that been complicated by the fact that you also kind of have started to embrace your destiny a little bit?
I think that he maybe has a sense of wanting to have things in order, just in case. So like in case he would have to abandon his post for some reason, or God forbid something were to happen to him. I think that he maybe appreciates it more because it is also like a sort of bedrock of normalcy in a world kind of gone crazy.
How is your training going? I think it'd be cool if like you, Minerva, I think would be eager to train you. I think obviously I think she only shows up for like 3 minutes. It is a short window that she appears to you, but it's every day 6:14 to 6:17 she shows up, and I think wants to sort of show you the ropes a little bit.
Yeah, and I think I see Minerva kind of as like his personal trainer, and who he's kind of like blowing off. Like the reason he does this stuff is so he can tell Minerva like, oh yeah, I've been practicing like running and swords and stuff, Okay. But it's not, it's sort of like Minerva's there. She's like, have you been training? He's like, oh yeah, totally training. Really. Yeah, for sure. Like really grinding it out.
All right.
Turning in all kinds of crush bone belts,
Yeah.
God, how often can we reference crush bone belts from
as often as I want, dude?
Okay. I think I'd like the scene, if you're cool with it, to be at some point during this 2-month span, she kind of stops taking the excuse of like, yep, training, great, and actually wants to like spar with you somewhere for her 3-minute window.
Yeah, and I feel like she probably kicks his ass like every time, and probably through that towards the end of this period that we're talking about, like he gets tired of getting his ass kicked, which is sort of the prompting for him doing the other stuff, like for actually trying to get himself in slightly better shape and practice with Beacon or whatever. He's tired of getting knocked around.
Well, she's like a vision. I don't think she has any physical form.
Yeah, but he knows when he's beat.
Yeah, okay. I think. All right, let's do one of these scenes. It's probably close to the end of this 2-month window because you've been training for a while. Where are you at?
I also don't forget. I need to do my Destiny's Plaything roll at some point.
Oh yeah, go ahead and do that. That's a good setup too. Because we're especially
because if we're flashing back, okay.
Yeah, I think Go ahead and do it, and then we.
Okay. For those of you, Destiny's at the beginning of every sort of like thing, I have to roll to see sort of like what Destiny is going to tell me about.
It is a super cool mechanic. So we're using Roll20, not for sort of visual things. We're not going to put up like things that you won't be able to see. We're mainly just doing it so we can see each other's rolls. And I can see that Justin has rolled a 7 plus, what is it, weird?
Yeah, plus weird, which is actually -1.
Oh,
so for ducks. So
what do you
a 6.
What do you get on a failure for?
Something bad is going to happen to you.
Oh no! We just started.
Here you go. Here's a little present for you, Griffin. I've wrapped it and everything.
Okay, that's extremely good. Well, mark experience.
Okay.
Every time you fail a roll in Monster of the Week, which is the game we are playing, is you get mark experience. Out of curiosity, did anybody rack up 5 XP? Need to level up?
I just got 1 last time.
All right.
Yeah, that's my second.
Dad, where are you at XP wise?
I got a couple.
This is a much simpler system.
This is such a simpler system. You gotta just do the shit.
I'm looking at all my notes. I think I
look at your character sheet.
2.
Thank you.
I'll do your vision after this scene. We'll do the flashback and then we'll do your vision.
Okay.
So it's where are you at when you're doing this training?
Out back.
The Outback Steakhouse? Like the parking lot or like the kitchen?
There's a parking lot behind the Outback. No, I go out back of my house.
Okay. Your apartment?
Yes.
Okay.
My apartment. There's a sort of common area. But there's only like 3 other apartments in the building, and I know when Mrs. Pearson usually packs it in at about earlier in the evening.
Now, what's your relationship with Mrs. Pearson?
Yeah, let's dial into that.
She is a sweet older lady, former police officer, actually. So she's got a lot of great stories. Kepler's first female police officer, actually. And so she's got a lot of great stories about her time on the force, which Duck likes to hear. And he likes to, she likes to think that she's checking up on him to make sure that he's doing okay, because she still hasn't lost the sort of protective nature that she developed over 40 years on the force. But I think they kind of look out for each other.
Damn, dude, we were just goofing. That's good shit.
That is real good shit.
Okay, so you're behind.
Wait, hold on. So, who else is in the building?
I can tell you if you want.
There's Mr. Furley. Mr. Furley's there.
No, Mr. Tarkesian, who runs the general store in town.
Justin, I have a fucking character list here in Scrivener, and I'm having to update it. Mr. Tarkesian?
Yeah, Mr. Tarkesian.
All right. Runs the grocery store.
General store.
Yeah, I mean, it's a grocery store, general store, whatever. It says Kepler General Store, but that's sort of like a nod to nostalgia. You know, it's like a grocery store, a small one. You find those in small West Virginia towns where the big chains have not come in still. Like, if you go to a place like McDowell County, you'll find these like gas stations that are kind of like markets
and
gas station markets,
combination bait shop. A lot of the time.
Yeah, a bait shop for sure.
There is a Pizza Hut in town. That is, I think, one of the few chains.
That's canon.
Yeah, Pizza Hut is not necessarily a grocery store, but I can see how if your only groceries were pizza.
Can you give me all the ingredients but not cooked, please?
All right. Is there anybody else in your apartment building?
No, the fourth apartment is unoccupied.
Okay.
Currently, you that's the problem with an area like this. Somebody moves out, it's not like we have an influx of people,
Okay. All right. So it's somewhere close to the end of the 2-month span, like very, very close. I think like a week before the events of this arc. And you're behind the apartment building. It's 6:13. Sure enough, nobody's out there.
And Mr. Tarkesian still works.
Yeah, Mr. Tarkesian still at work. Mrs. Pearson's holed up for the evening.
Watching a wheel.
She watches the news. She's 6 to 6:30. She's
watching the news, so you know that you're clear. And your watch rolls over to 6:14, and then like without a sound, there's no like there's Minerva, and she is standing in front of you, and she says, "Duck Newton, let's be swift, eh? Only a few moments. Are you ready to begin your training?"
All right, here's the first thing I wanted to show you. Check this out. And he jumps up in the air and kicks, and he says, is that anything? Because I did it, and it felt like I did it, and I felt like it was something, but I don't know if that's anything.
Well, why don't you try to do...
It's kind of like a half kick.
Yes.
I kind of jump up and do like a half kick.
It looked rad, and it might scare your opponent into maybe wavering for a moment, giving you an opportunity to strike them with your blade. But you've just taken up like one of our 3 minutes with it, so I think keep practicing, and let's see how it goes.
All right.
Let's. Why don't you roll to kick some ass? I think that'd be a cool way to like see how well you do with this training session.
It is really hard. I have my dice like in my hand. It's very hard to break the habit, but I will use your rigged game.
You were saying
11 points to kick this ghost's ass.
And, actually, you add your what is it? Body?
I'm looking
tough.
Yeah, add tough, which he is 1, so that's a 12.
All right, I think this is great because I think after like a few weeks of her, and I think the training is like you take turns, you swinging your blade at her, just trying to hit her, while she kind of dodges out of the way, and then she has a blade of her own wherever she is that you can sort of see in the projection that she swings at you, and I
feel like because of the net magical nature of my blade, like we could like fight that way. Like I feel like I could have like a realist, even though she's spectral, right? Like
So here's the thing. You are right. You have your blade is magic, but like you have hit her before, it just passes right through her because and
I meant the sword herself. Like I don't think it hurts her, but like I feel like her sword maybe we could like bounce off, or she like
here's how
just, like,
here's how we
light.
rectify it. I think it's
Okay.
You feel something when it hits her, but it's not like in your hand. Right, it's like your
Right.
it's like your brain telling you like that's a hit, but you don't. It's not
Double
like
hit.
it's not like the blade is stopped in the air. But
Okay.
that has been sort of rare for you to actually get a hit off on her. And I think this time you stab at her and she dodges out of the way, and you quickly like swing the blade upwards, and you get a hit on her. And even though again like she's not tangible, I think she falls down. And this is like quick. This happens in like the span of a second. And she's laughing as she goes. And she says, "Oh, Duck Newton, you have been practicing. I see you're really giving in to the instincts."
Yeah, I've been feeling like I've been getting a little bit better. You know, I'm trying to put in my time and polish up a little bit.
She says, your skills are impressive, Duck Newton. More impressive than I expected them to get. There is a certain amount of, let's call it, help that you receive just for being the chosen one. But it seems like you've supplemented that yourself with doing a little. What did you call it? CrossFit?
Yeah, I'm still doing CrossFit. I went back, I'm not getting there every week, but I feel like because of magic, that's probably fine. And destiny,
She says, no, again, the instinct that you received upon becoming the chosen one will do you well. There's no need to overexert yourself. Duck, we only have a few moments. How is it going with Beacon? Are you two getting along?
it's fine. It's fine. You don't, just so I'm clear, you don't have any other, like, magical weapons stashed somewhere or anything, do you? I mean, it's going fine, but like I'm pretty locked in, I assume.
She laughs and says, Duck, there's no way for me to get you another weapon. That's the only one of its kind on. And then she's gone. And then I think that night you're in bed and you're probably feeling pretty good about yourself. You got some good hits off. Why don't you mark experience? That's not typically how this works, but I think you did a great job training your bod and your skills, and so I think this would reflect that.
We have to assume we could say that that's probably an assumption of like, since we have a lapse of time, there's probably a lot of failures in that time period.
Exactly.
That are reflected by that.
Mark 84 experience.
So we're not playing complete Calvin ball.
Yeah, sure.
We're making up for lost fails.
I think also because y'all just didn't get very much experience that first arc. I mean, you probably failed a lot and didn't tell me, but
didn't roll a lot.
Yeah,
either. We're gonna roll more. I feel like
definitely. I think that night you're in bed and you are asleep, and you and this has happened to you before. Like you feel it coming on, even though you're unconscious. And what does it look like? What do your visions look like?
Do you know, this is going to sound like a weird touchstone, but you ever see like rotoscoping? It's where they animate over real people. It's like that, but like a little more monochromatic, like a lot of hues of like sapphire and green.
I like
and stuff
that
like
a lot.
But that's what they look like.
I think you just see water, and I think you see no, you don't really see any shapes in the water. I think your vision is a little bit too primitive for that. But you see this water, and it's dark wherever this water is, and then you see your body. It's sort of like superimposed in this scene in that style, and you are face up, and you are sort of you look unconscious, and you are falling in this water. Ned. Ned, what you been up to? I think just to set it up because of the events of the end of the first arc, and I'm not sure if it was clear what happened there, but the video that Kirby posted was not your Wookiee costume, you like wandering through the woods. It was the camera still rolling, recording actually Barclay, actually Bigfoot, actually fighting a big monster bobcat that was infected with the monster fluid that made it real big.
But because of Ned's crummy camera work, there's still some doubt.
Yeah, it is still like one of the most convincing pieces of Bigfoot footage that exists out there, and that is why the Cryptonomica has been doing pretty well lately.
Yeah.
You have not you paid back the missing payments for your lease or mortgage or whatever, and you're doing all right. Not like rich, but like you are finally like making enough money to get by, which is it's probably been a long time since the Cryptonomica has been like that. So what have the last 2 months looked like for you?
They've been pretty good for Ned. He took all that extra money and bought some drones, and he
Sure.
What?
yeah he bought
why not?
he bought some drones, and he's been cooking up a Mothman scam with Kirby. They had so much success with the Bigfoot video that he bought a couple of drones. So that's kind of been percolating on the backboard.
Is the Mothman
big
scam
thing
you're doing, just to figure it out, like you have some sort of paper cutout of a Mothman that you attach to the drone and just fly it around the town, or
so much more elaborate than that. It's using a series of lights and phosphorescence and lasers. There's some lasers involved. That we haven't really put that into effect. That's been kind
Just
of
to clarify,
burner.
Ned was super behind on his rent, about to lose the shop, and he gets all this money. He's like, "Cool, finally, drones."
yeah.
Bought drones. Okay. Yeah. Well, paid off the rent.
Okay.
But money means nothing to Ned. He has no concept of it.
How's it different now doing the Cryptonomica stuff while you actually have like a pretty frequent stream of visitors? I think it's mostly like hikers who are like maybe doing the trail, or
a lot of folks doing the trail. A lot of folks have been coming into town. It's actually the success of the video has been kind of decent for the town in general.
Okay.
Because people have been staying at local hotels and eating in the Pizza Hut. So, it's been kind of a boon for Kepler. It's still not up there with places like Canaan Valley and stuff like that. But it's, it's helped out.
Has there been any friction with you and the specifically Barclay, I guess, at Amnesty Lodge for the fact that you put him on blast, kind of?
Yeah, and not only that, but I don't think they're too happy about it. I think there's
I'm going to say maybe Aubrey has done a little bit of damage control for Ned to be like, he didn't know. It's an accident.
I don't think it was like a huge blow up, but I think Barclay was like, what the fuck, dude? This is like specifically not what we're going for here. So I want to do a scene with you, Ned, and I want it to be like now. I would like your catch-up scene to be like kind of now, right as we're getting into the start of the arc. But what could we do?
Well, I have an idea. One of the projects that Kirby and I've been working on is trying to get the local TV station. See, because we're in the National Radio Quiet Zone, there's like no satellite TV and no cable, but we do have a local TV station that basically is all you have in Kepler, WKWV, and they have agreed to let me do a late night monster movie show like the old Chiller theaters. Right there at the Cryptonomica. We're gonna shoot it right there. And Kirby's gone out and gotten these cameras, and so we're putting it on Saturday nights. We're gonna call it Saturday Night Dead up against Saturday Night Live, and we're just gonna show scary monster movies like Roger Corman and all those old great drive-in movies every Saturday night. And we're getting ready for the first broadcast. We're getting ready for the first one.
Okay. Let's do this. Let's do this at the Cryptonomica. It's the day. It's like the morning, before your first broadcast, and you're talking with Kirby about what you are going to do that night.
Okay.
Can we, just to get a little bit more interplay, can we also say, like, because I think that this would be an idea that Aubrey would be the showmanship and the thing. She's not in the scene, but maybe she's like in the background setting stuff up. She's also there.
Yeah, this is at the crypt. Is it shot at the Cryptonomica or is it shot at the TV station?
No, shot at the Cryptonomica.
All right, I think there's probably some production people there then, setting up some stuff, setting up some lights. I think they're sort of having to move around. There's probably like 4 or 5 people there at the Cryptonomica, just like checking out the exhibits. They want to see the Bigfoot video. You have like a display with the extended cut of the Bigfoot video going, which I think Barclay was kind of uncomfortable about, but it's bringing in the big bucks. And you're getting set up. And Kirby looks really nervous. He's like, Ned, I know this thing's happening tonight. I don't know. I'm not much for like public speaking or being in front of the camera. So like,
oh no! Do worry not, friend Kirby, because you're not going to be on camera. This is
thank God.
Ned's time. This is all about me.
Ned.
I am the host. Well, what?
What do you want the candelabras?
The magic candelabras or the regular candelabras?
I don't know what you mean. They're all regular candelabras.
Well, yeah, but I mean, I thought we talked about the gag where you're going to shoot fire out of your fingers.
Okay, I'll just put them somewhere.
shoot fire out of her fingers. What are you talking about?
A stage magician. She's a stage magician.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
I thought it would add to the pizzazz of the show.
Yeah, for sure.
That was what you just saw there was some really dope, like, hey, Dad fucked up and now I'm going to burn him. That was Griffin. And then Griffin was like, here's a burn. And then Dad was like, actually, twist, I got an answer ready for you. And Griffin's like, oh, shit.
Yep.
I've been reversed
And the
burn.
burner become the Bernie. Kirby says, so what flick you got on the docket for tonight?
Great one to start with. It's called Beast with a Million Eyes. It's Roger Corman directed it, 1955. Starring the brilliant Paul Birch and, of course, the second Darren from Bewitched, Dick Sargent. So it's got an all-star cast. It's about this family, and they're on a date farm, and aliens show up. It's really a piece of shit. People are going to love it. People are absolutely going to love it.
He says, yeah, it sounds like, I think it's a good idea. I think it's going to bring in business. But I got to tell you, Ned, I'm a little bit worried because we've been doing pretty well here for a bit. But the thing about Bigfoot, folks get kind of tired of these, sightings after a little bit. You got to keep it fresh. So I don't know if we need to move forward with Operation Mothman or something. But I'm telling you, because I see this at the Lamplighter all the time. We get a big scoop on a cryptid in town, and people pay attention, but just for a little bit. So we need to do something if we're going to keep this momentum going.
Oh, listen, the Mothman plan, we definitely do this. This is just publicity, friend Kirby. This is just getting our brand, getting our name out there. I figured whatever we do with the Mothman, we kind of start unveiling it on the show.
I like that.
We have exclusive. Yes, Aubrey,
Do you
dear.
have more cobwebs?
Yes, look over there behind the vat that has the giant floating brain in it, the fake brain.
Got it. Thank you.
I think in the middle of this sort of chaotic scene, the bell above the door rings, and in walks a young man. You've lived here for a while. It's not a huge town. You recognize him as Calvin Owens, the captain of the local high school swim team, and he looks actually pretty shaken up. He sort of stops when he sees sort of the lights being put up and the decorations being put up. But he kind of shakes his head and he walks towards you and he says, "Hey, are you, you run this place, right? This monster museum?"
Absolutely. Welcome to the Cryptonomica. When you stepped through that door, you stepped through the arch of doom. Here there be monsters, my friend. And what's your name?
I think whenever you deliver this spiel to people, they usually look kind of delighted. He looks like scared. Do you know Calvin or not? I don't know like how deep Ned's roots in this town.
Not by name.
Okay.
I mean, he's a pretty big jock.
Yeah, I
around
he
town.
Says, my name's Calvin. I've been in town for a while. I've never been in here though, but I know that y'all know stuff about monsters. And what do you call them? Cryptids here in town?
Cryptids, yes.
So, like, what do you do? What do you do?
Well, we investigate. They're There are a lot of monsters, a lot of cryptid. We call them bombs. We have a lot of bombs running through the woods here in Kepler. Yes, Aubrey.
Is bombs catching on?
Only with me.
Okay.
I'm the only one, apparently.
Calvin kind of puts his he does the Adventure Zone NPC symbol where he like pinches the bridge of his nose and kind of closes his eyes, and he looks up at you and he says, this is the only place I could think to come to because you all know about monsters and stuff, and so, well, I got a new one for you.
So hey, if you're not familiar, which you should be if you listened last week, but maybe you didn't because that wasn't like a canonical Adventure Zone episode.
Everything we said in there was bullshit. No, it was all bullshit. Real.
No, I just mean it wasn't like a narrative episode. I don't give a shit. Anyway, Max Fun Drive is here. It only happens once a year, Vern. And we come to you sort of hat in hand, say, hey, did you like the show? And then you say, yeah, I did. And we're like, well, could we have some money for it, for doing that? And the show, good for you. And you say, well, yeah, absolutely. Let me do that right this second. So you go to MaximumFun.org/donate, and you pick a donation level that works for you. And again, just as a precursor, we say this all the time, but if it's uncomfortable for you or, you can't make it happen, we understand. It's a decision you got to make for yourself, and we don't want anybody to be put out. But if you can spare it, it sure helps. We have different donation levels. You can give, if you give just $5 a month, like if you can carve out just $5 a month, you are going to support the network, which is really what you're doing with these. You're not like buying stuff. You're supporting the shows that you like, and your money does go directly to the shows that you say you listen to. That's how the system works. So you're supporting us and the other Max Fun shows you enjoy directly. But if you can kick in $5 a month, you are gonna get.
Wait, what are you doing? This is Dad's great. This is like Dad's like main.
Dad, walk us through the gifts, Dad.
Well, you get exclusive bonus content.
That's the voice.
And for $10 a month,
you didn't do $5.
Wait, talk about the bonus. What do you get for $5 a month? Do $5 a month first, Daddy.
You get exclusive bonus content.
How much?
Yeah. I don't have that on the sheet in front of me.
It's like over 120 hours.
Over 120 hours. That's right. 120 hours all for you. $10 a month. You got it.
The 120 hours is for all the shows throughout the network.
All the shows throughout the network. They're all there at your very fingertips.
What did we do? Can you talk about what we did this year for the Max Fun Drive? Because it's very good.
This year, we did the Adventure Zone Elementary. And holy cow, did we have a great time pretending to be detectives and vampires.
What if I can spare a little bit more cash, Dad, and I can kick in $10 a month?
$10 a month? Wow. Well, I tell you what, if you're a Taz Amnesty fan, you're really going to dig that because we've got those beautiful enameled pins. That's right, enameled pins. And the Adventure Zone's enamel pin is Dr. Harris Bonkers. Check it out. Dr. Harris Bonkers. You love him. You know him. There's a little flame on him. It's really cute. Now, $20 a month, you get everything from 5, and you get everything from 10, but you get the Max Fun Family Cookbook. I'm telling you, this thing has recipes, everything from cocktails to desserts, everything in between, featuring recipes that, well, I believe we've contributed to, haven't we, fellas?
Yeah.
Great. Okay. $35 a month, you get a carafe. I know. It's perfect for putting juice in. It's perfect for any kind of fluids that are consumable.
Not lava.
Now, Daddy,
don't put lava in it.
Daddy, what's the difference between a carafe and a carafe?
Don't dunk on our dad. He's doing his best.
Long A, short A, my young friend. It's got a Max Fun Rocket logo on it. Now get this, for $50 a month.
We don't have to do all the levels.
Stop there.
I love this one. I never get to do 50.
I know, but we don't ask you. Just whatever.
It's a surprise. You got to go to MaximumFun.org/donate to check it out. And please do that right now. A lot of times you think, I'm definitely going to get to it, but you might forget the drive only goes for a couple more days. So if you would, if you enjoy our show, if you can spare some bucks, it really does mean a lot to us. It's allowed Dad to stop waking up at 3:00 in the morning to go work at the radio station.
I still do to pee.
He drives to the radio station. It's the only bathroom he feels comfortable in.
If we hit the 25,000 new and upgrading donor goal, our dad will stop peeing. Forever.
Well, okay.
It's allowed us the flexibility to make stuff like this because of the drive and because of your support. We can justify spending the time to make the Adventure Zone, which, as Griffin will attest, it's a huge time investment, but we make it because people really like it, and you've shown that with your support. So please continue to show that support at MaximumFun.org/donate. Again, we only do this once a year, but we're able to do that because y'all really come out and do a great show of support every year for us, and we really appreciate it. So please take a second right now. Go to MaximumFun.org/donate. Get yourself a cool pin, a cookbook, a carafe, whatever you want. Either one.
You have to choose between the carafe and carafe. There's like a slider.
There's 2 different options there.
And at some levels, the carafe.
Mm-hmm. There's a carafe if you donate a lot of money. Anyway, please do that right now. MaximumFun.org/donate.
So the three of you have reconvened at Amnesty Lodge with Calvin in tow. The lobby here is fairly quiet. There's just a few guests loitering about. Not guests, but residents, I guess, loitering about. They're all in their human disguise, sort of given their uncertainty about the outsider that has come in with you. And Calvin still seems pretty shaky as Barclay enters from the kitchen and hands the 4 of you each a cup of some strong-smelling cinnamon tea. And after taking a sip of his tea, Calvin says, "So, I don't really know what y'all's story is, but look, I'm not a big believer in all the monster stuff that some folks in this town are always talking about. Sorry, Ned, but I know what I saw last night."
What did you see?
I saw the pool that I've swum in every day. Swum?
Swim. Have swam.
Swim?
Have swammin'.
I mean, I'm the captain of the pool team. You'd think I would know the past tense
Say
version.
did laps.
Yeah.
The
did
pool
laps.
I did laps in last night, it came alive. I don't know how to describe it because it's water and I've never seen water do that, but
Yeah.
I gotta know, was that real? Do monsters really exist here? And when he says that, I think Barclay like kind of locks eyes with probably with Ned, because he knows that Ned is the biggest sort of loudmouth in this department, and is making a face at you like, don't do it.
Calvin, was it?
Yeah.
No, listen, power of suggestion is very strong, but there's no such things as monsters. You don't have to worry about it.
Why don't you roll to investigate a mystery? That is plus sharp.
Ooh, so it's a 7?
Okay, on a 7 to 9, hold 1. You get to ask one of the following questions. What happened here? What sort of creature is it? What can it do? What can hurt it? Where did it go? What was it going to do? And what is being concealed here?
Did he see where it went?
Probably not. I think so here's how this is going to work, because you're just having a conversation and this is for like hard details. I think he's going to tell you like what he saw.
Okay.
But if you want actual, again, remember, and if this is maybe the first episode of Amnesty you're listening to, the big thing for this game is gathering like hard intel on the monster that you are hunting, that you are going to have to use in battle, because the odds are usually stacked pretty heavily in the favor of the monsters. The only way to get an upper hand is to sort of gather intel and act on it. So I think he's going to tell you what he saw.
Okay.
But if you want something useful here, it's going to be the result of one of these questions.
Okay, so I'll hold on to the question and ask you when I need it. Also, because
Okay.
I'm a spell slinger, I have I have forensic divination. So when I successfully investigate a mystery, I also get to ask the question, what magic was done here, as a free extra question. That might be something that's better directed towards like Barclay.
Huh. Yeah, I mean, so the other thing about this is that the information can only come in the context of like what you're getting it from or who you're asking. And so like Calvin's not a fucking wizard. Or is he? No, he's not. So I don't know how much. So I think that's a good impulse. He'll sort of tell you what happened, and then you can ask one of these questions for some hard intel, keeping in mind that like he only knows what he saw. So he says, all right, last night I snuck into the Kepler High pool, and I was doing some laps. We got the big meet coming up pretty soon. I was trying to get
Big meet.
All right. I was trying to get, ripped, all tore up in my, swimming muscles. And I don't know, it was late. It was real dark. And I don't want to brag, but I'm a pretty fucking good swimmer. But something grabbed me, pulled me under. And I was under for a while. I was struggling under there for a bit, and I managed to break free of whatever had me. And I had my eyes open down there. I didn't see nothing grabbing me, but I managed to get away. I swam, ran, got up towards the window. I snuck in through. I was just about to hop out when I looked behind me, and y'all, I swear to God, the water of the pool started to lift up, like make a hill in the middle of the pool. When I sort of locked eyes with it, it didn't have eyes. When I looked over at it, it started to move over towards me, and then I made my flight and got out.
The mound of water, you're saying the mound of water rose up and actually moved.
That's what I saw.
And Calvin, just what did it seem like it was going to do? It pulled you under the water, but it seemed like it was intent on hurting you. Yeah.
Is this your question? What was it going to do?
Yeah.
He says, I don't know, but it was moving towards me there at the end, and it tried to drown me. I think it was going to try and kill me. I didn't, talk to it.
Calvin, would you excuse me for just 1 second? And
yeah.
Cross over to Barclay. Hey, I don't know how this usually works, but does this sound like anything you recognize? Any kind of, I don't know, creature or spell? Is that a thing?
He kind of walks you over to like away from the place a little bit. I think he's a little nervous about having this conversation anywhere near Calvin. And he says,
I'm gonna we can wait till afterwards, but upon seeing this, like, I start talking to Calvin as well. I have some stuff I want to say to Calvin, so
okay, well,
that is happening concurrently to alleviate any concern of Calvin overhearing what they're talking about.
Okay. Barclay says, I mean, some sort of like unnatural thing trying to kill somebody. It's definitely an abomination. It's just like, it's like a couple days early, Aubrey. It shouldn't be here yet. We still have a couple days before it was supposed to show up. They've been acting a little more erratic and unpredictable over the last year or so. They've abided by certain rules for decades, but now they're starting to bend them. But yeah, I'm pretty sure that's our mark.
Calvin, let me bend your ear for a second.
Yeah.
You know me, and we've known each other a long time. I went to school with your dad, actually. So we that we're not sort of crime fighters or police officers or anything. I know the uniform can be a bit misleading, but what we do is, you asked about us. We're kind of enthusiasts into this sort of cryptozoological world. Weird stuff happens here in Kepler, and because Ned's got his sort of interests and Audrey's got hers, and I'm interested in like creatures and stuff, and Audrey's interested in magic, and Ned likes to keep track of like how people make up monsters and stuff. They call them cryptids.
I'm not making this up.
Oh no, I know. I understand. What I'm telling you is we have weird stuff happens in Kepler, right? Like that won't come as a surprise to you. We all know it. And but sometimes people who have ill intentions like to use that to try to cover up whatever, dark stuff they want to get up to. So, because we know about the sort of cryptozoological stuff and we're interested in it, sometimes we like to just help out and poke around, poke a few holes, and make it a little bit easier for the real heroes, to kind of do their job. And because usually you start to see it unravel pretty quickly once we start poking around. It's somebody's using a shop vac, to make stuff move or whatever. People got all kinds of tricks.
So I think,
but
I think what would be cool here is if we did a roll. There's manipulate someone, and I think we can do this. Once you have given them a reason, tell them what you want them to do, and roll plus charm. I think what you're doing is trying to assuage his fears, so he's not going to poke into what you all are doing.
Yes, exactly.
And the reason you're giving them is that it's all good here. There's no monsters. We're a team.
I'm also
that sort
trying
of
to lay down a cover.
Yeah, for sure.
He can tell other people in case he needs to.
I think roll plus charm, and I think the stakes here are Calvin's sort of continued interference into this thing.
Okay, roll plus charm. Aha! 9 plus 1. That's a 10.
Okay, then they do it.
Consider yourself manipulated.
They
Calvin.
do it for the reason you give them. I think he just looks relieved, and he's like, "All right, yeah, I was starting to think that it was a little silly. I don't know. Maybe the Jets kicked on too hard, and there were. It would make me feel a lot better if y'all would go, look around. But I don't know. You seem like you're not full of shit on this, so I guess I'll drop it." And I think he looks for the first time since you all have been talking to him. He looks like he's calmed down.
And listen, you don't need to go. We'll pass this all along to the Zeke and the boys over at the sheriff's office. Let us poke around into it, and we'll and we'll poke some holes in this whole water thing and find out what really going on here. And how those guys don't like to lift a finger, so we'll kind of wrap it up in a nice little bow for them and drop it off at their office. My metaphor's gotten away from me.
Yeah, a little bit.
You know what I'm saying,
Mr. Keeper? Are any of the accumulated residents of Sylvain there have a medical background?
No, I don't think so. I think I mean there's werewolves and vampires and a ghost, and so they have magical backgrounds, but no medical ones.
Well, I just wondered if it would behoove us to take a look at Calvin's ankle where he was grabbed.
Interesting.
I mean, it was the only physical contact that.
Yeah, and obviously none of us are going to have the expertise to have derive anything from it. But
Barkley might. Barkley might.
Barclay, not it's not Charles Barkley. He shows up in Arc 4.
I was thinking I was thinking Barkley from the from Sesame Street. But okay.
Why don't you roll to investigate? You could just do it, right? And that way we all sort of get a hand on the ball in this scene.
Okay. 8 plus what?
Sharp. Yeah.
Then that's a 10.
Is it? You have plus 2 sharp. Wow.
Yep.
Okay, on a 10, hold 2. So you get to ask 2 questions, and I think we sort of resolve this thing here with maybe what can it do, or
what happened here,
or something like that.
Listen, Calvin, I know it sounds a little weird, but I am quite an aquatic fan myself.
Like a swim fan, you might say.
I'm a swim fan. Wait, no.
I'm going to murder you.
I have a Michael Phelps poster in the Cryptonomicon in the back room. But could I maybe take a peek at your ankles? A lot of power derives from the kid.
Hey, Dad, I just want to say thank you for making this as creepy as you possibly could in 30 seconds. I really appreciate it.
I think you've seen him sort of walk favoring one of his legs, and sort of put it together like that, and he says, yes, and he rolls up his pant leg and props it up on the table, and you look at his ankle, and there is a mark there. It's not like a handprint or anything like that. It's just kind of just sort of a red area, I guess, is the only way to describe it, that wraps around his whole ankle. And I think what you sort of glean from that is he was not necessarily grabbed by a hand necessarily.
My second question, you said you opened your eyes and you looked when you were under the water. Now, I realize you probably didn't see much, but did you see anything at all? I know chlorine, I know, kills me too, but did you see anything in the water at all?
Is this what sort of creature is it?
Okay, I guess it's what happened here. I want to know what he saw. If he saw anything.
Yeah, I think it's one of those two. This is the second question, so I guess it's 6 and 1, half dozen the other. He says, I didn't have my goggles on, unfortunately. I was taking a little breather when it grabbed me, but I don't know, Ned. It was pretty dark and it was underwater. I didn't have my goggles on, and I'll tell you what, though. There's some moonlight coming in. Moon was real bright that night, and so like that was sort of what I was swimming by. But when I was under there, I feel like I saw like a different light, like not moonlight. It was kind of, I saw it for like a millisecond, but so this ain't gospel, but it was like yellow light under there.
Like,
I thought
like
I thought maybe they'd
bioluminescence, phosphorescence.
No, just like not like a, there wasn't I wasn't grabbed by an electric eel or anything like that. It was just, I thought somebody had changed the pool lights out and put in some different bulbs or something, but the lights were out, but there was some sort of yellow light under there. I don't know. That's what I saw.
Damn you, Sinestro.
That's such a dorky joke. I love it.
No.
And I think with that, I think Calvin says, so y'all are going to look into this, right? I feel a lot better just knowing that like the meet's coming up in 4 days. I don't want folks, getting pulled under or killed by some sort of living pool or something while the competition's taking place. So if y'all would look into it, it would really help me sleep a bit better tonight.
Right, yeah, absolutely. The chicaners will be on the case.
And now I'm still not sure about that one. The chicaners. Nah, it's just us 3 people gonna go check it out.
Yeah, we're the chicaners.
We don't even really have a team name, Calvin.
Well, but chicaners would be cool.
The chicaners, or
Get them
just
on a
3
get them on a jacket.
Well,
the
I already
3 chicaners. The 3 chicaners.
I already have a jacket, and
Well,
we may
yeah.
add other people, or one of us might beef it, so we don't want to hang our hat on the number of people. And also, we are just 3 regular people who look.
Yeah, but for spring, something lighter, like a windbreaker kind of thing.
Got that too. The forestry department issues that to me, so I'm kind of covered on the jacket front. Pretty much any thickness or lining, I'm
hoodies?
pretty well covered.
Hoodies, maybe hoodies.
I'm not a fan of because of the hat. You see.
Ah, right. Yeah.
Yeah. So maybe for right now, we're just gonna go with 3 people who are looking into it. Calvin, thanks so much. I'm assuming you've left the room at this point.
Real quick, you mentioned jackets, and I think you all have received a Pine Guard patch.
Not make the jackets.
No, I know, but the jackets, you all have a Pine Guard patch at this point that you're supposed to sort of fasten to the inside of your jacket.
Does it have to be inside?
Yes, it's like a secret thing. You don't want to go around saying I'm a part of a team of monster hunters. I think maybe if you put it on the outside the first time, like Barclay saw you, he was like, "What do you know? Inside goes inside for secrets."
Ducks is in his wallet because he doesn't know how to sew.
Okay,
And I will say, Aubrey is just like safety pinned hers into the inside of her vest.
love it.
I've got mine in a. I'm going to get a tattoo of it.
That's
Okay. Do you have it on your person also, in addition to your tattoo? And also, you don't have it yet, but you're going to get around to it?
Yeah, I've got it, but it's been really busy.
Yeah,
with
sure.
Cryptonomica.
Okay. Yeah, I think Calvin, after this great dialogue, stands up and he says, all right, I got to head out. Actually, it's my brother's birthday, and I actually snuck out of the house to come here as is, but maybe we can circle back
tell us
sometime
about
before
your brother.
He's a doofus, but maybe we can circle back before the swim meet, and I can find out what y'all found out.
Tell me Calvin's last name is Hobbs.
It's Owens. Crap. Named after listener Calvin Owens. Thank you for tweeting about the show. He asks if you can circle back up before the meet.
Yes.
It's a problem when any one of the 3 of us can answer. Mm-hmm. He's kind of gets in this weird, like, well, I know if I say it now, it's like this math you do where, like, with each second that passes, the likelihood of someone else answering becomes higher. So you don't want to like step on anybody. So we just fall into a circle of not being able to answer. Yes, we will. No problem.
And Calvin stands up and leaves Amnesty Lodge. And with that, I think Barclay walks over to the seat he was sitting in and sits down. And he says, "All right, I guess it's a work day. We should probably start our investigation. If this thing showed up, we can assume the clock starts then. We got about a week before it's able to leave Kepler, and so we need to find out what it is and take it down before it does. So I gotta stay here because I
Could you make us some lunches?
Yeah, of course I make you some lunches. That's my
Sick.
jam. But Mom ain't back yet, and so I gotta hold down the fort here. Are you three good to? I don't know how well you've been keeping up with your practice and stuff. Aubrey, I know you've been going out back and we've been shooting some fire at some shit. But y'all feel all right about tackling this one on your own?
Sure.
Go to a swimming pool? Yeah.
I just got one question. One of my partners has a real heavy stick that he clobbers stuff with. I got a sword, and my other partner shoots fire out of her hands. How the hell do we fight water?
Duck, I don't know. That's the job. One of the tricky things about this gig is we don't get repeats. There's not a lot of sort of institutional knowledge that comes into play here. I've never seen a water monster come through, so you're gonna have to figure that out on your own. But I think a good place to start is maybe heading to the scene of the attack last night and seeing what you can find out there. Obviously, be careful. You don't want to fight it until we know how to kill it. And for God's sake, whatever you do, don't get in the water. But I think if you head to the pool and see what you can see, it might be a sort of good launch pad.
All right.
And he stands up, and I think he picks up the empty cups of tea and puts them on a tray, and he says, "And listen, I appreciate you not telling Calvin the truth of the matter, and you gotta keep this stuff secret, Ned. It is so important. I mean, it's to all of you, but I'm talking to Ned specifically here because he can't seem to, shut up about it. Humans have a long history of freaking the hell out when they find out about Sylvain, and that usually ends with them coming over and causing a ruckus. The night that you three found out, that was an anomaly. It is of the utmost importance that nobody else gets clued in, okay?
My friend, discretion is my middle name.
I thought your middle name was fucking.
Ned fucking Discretion Chicane. That's me, Junior.
And I think with that, the door to Amnesty Lodge opens and shuts, and a man walks in, a tall, sort of handsome, very neatly dressed man walks in. He's wearing a suit and kind of eyes the place over and sort of nods at one of the guests with a kind of friendly demeanor. And he walks over to the four of you, and he introduces himself. He says, "I'm looking for Ned Chicane, proprietor of the Cryptonomica. I was told by his associate Kirby I could find him here."
What do you need, jolly old Ned, for?
I think he sees you, Ned, and just deduces, "Oh, that's Ned."
Damn.
"Mr. Chicane, my name is Agent Stern, FBI. At your earliest convenience, sir, I would just love to see your Bigfoot video."
So that's going to do it for us this week. Travis went to go throw up.
Travis is very sick. He recorded this episode very sick, and we're all very proud of him.
He's an
He was able to
inspiration.
fight. He was able to fight through it for you, the listener.
And what are you going to do for Travis? Well, luckily you can do something. You can go to MaximumFun.org/donate and really thank Travis for Travis.
Yeah, we really appreciate all the support that you all have given us, especially during the experimental arcs where we're trying out some new stuff and trying to find our footing for season 2. And we hope that you enjoy it. And this is a really great time of year to show your support of our show, try to help us meet our goal of 25,000 new and upgrading members. You can help us get there by going to MaximumFun.org/donate. And again, you're going to get those cool gifts. You're going to get the feeling of satisfaction knowing that you have helped keep this show afloat by supporting it in a very, very direct way. Yeah, it means the world to us. If you have the means, please consider going to donate at MaximumFun.org/donate.
And there are a lot of different levels for you to choose from. You know, just pick the one that fits for you. And it's a really easy process too. It doesn't take much time, doesn't take a lot of effort. It really is very simple.
So that's it for this week. We will be back next week with another episode. That will be April. What day is that going to be? April 19th will be another episode, and then that'll get us back on schedule, and then we are going to kick it back to bi-weekly so that I can stop being so anxious all the time. So new episode next week, April 19th, live show this weekend, Friday, Dallas. Yeah. We'll see you real soon.
Hey, also, this is my Mim Bam, but Houston, can you please come to our show, Houston?
Yeah, McElroyshows.com/tours. Houston, hey, Houston, can you come see the show? But yeah, we'll see you soon and talk to you next week, and bye.
Bye.
MaximumFun.org.
Comedy and culture. Artist owned.
Listener supported.
Previously on the Adventure Zone. This is the only place I could think to come to because you all know about monsters and stuff, and so, well, I got a new one for you. Something grabbed me, pulled me under. Y'all, I swear to God, the water of the pool started to lift up. A good place to start is maybe heading to the scene of the attack last night and seeing what you can find out there. Obviously, be careful. You don't want to fight it until we know how to kill it, and for God's sake, whatever you do, don't get in the water. I'm looking for Ned Chicane, proprietor of the Cryptonomica. I was told by his associate Kirby I could find him here.
What do you need, jolly old Ned, for?
Mr. Chicane, my name is Agent Stern, FBI. At your earliest convenience, sir, I would just love to see your Bigfoot video. Fucked up. Well, I fucked up. I goofed.
Listen, Griffin, when one of us fucks up, we all fuck up. Depending on how bad the fuck up was.
I did a goofy bad job, and maybe we should start by sort of acknowledging that.
Okay.
The game's actually called Monster of the Geek.
What?
Yeah, I've been saying the name wrong this whole time.
I don't think that's it, Griffin.
No, okay, so there was a thing we should have done after the first arc that we didn't do, and really it's not my fault for fucking up because we didn't know that we were coming back to this at that point, and so anybody could have made this mistake, and so really I'm not in the wrong at all if you think about it. But you all
think about it,
you all should have more experience than you do have now. And before we get back into the action and the big climactic stuff that's happening, maybe we could resolve that first. We should also maybe talk about the fact that Travis and I are recording in the same room because he's in Austin and I fucking hate it.
I don't care for this at all.
Because he sort of embodies, he does a thing with his back where he kind of arches it as he records and he makes like a fantasy face. That's the only way I could describe it.
I'm a fantasy kitty.
He does like that. He says, I'm a fantasy kitty a lot. Okay, so at the end of each session, the keeper will ask the following questions. Did we conclude the current mystery? Did we save someone from certain death or worse? Did we learn something new and important about the world? Did we learn something new and important about one of the hunters? We're supposed to do this after every time we play.
Yes, and yes.
Yeah, we're supposed to do this after every time we play, so the answers won't always be yes, but I think it would be, for the purposes of our podcast, a bit redundant if we did that after every time we played, so I think it makes more sense for us to just do it after every arc. So, did we conclude the current mystery?
Yes.
Yes.
Did we save someone from certain death?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah,
A bunch
Pete's,
of people.
Pete's not dead. Folks ask about Pete. We just didn't get back to Pete, but Duck,
He was in the bushes?
yeah, Duck definitely saved Pete with his action, so that's a yes. Did we learn something new and important about the world?
Yes.
I think
Oh, yeah.
unequivocally, yes. And did we learn something new and important about one of the hunters?
Yes.
Yeah.
If you get 1 or 2 yes answers, each hunter marks 1 experience. If you get 3 or 4, each hunter marks 2. So everybody mark 2 experience. Does that bring anybody up to 5?
No. I think it brings me close. I think it
Yeah,
brings me
wait.
to 4.
It does. It does bring me to 5.
Awesome. So when you hit 5 experience, you get an improvement. And you get a list here that you can pick from. And once you have leveled up 5 times, you can start picking up advanced improvements, which let you sort of take your character in even more directions. So just a general housekeeping announcement. I think we're going to start doing more of a like lunar interlude style between arcs to handle this stuff, because this is a really weird energy to start out this episode.
Indeed.
Dad, did you level up or are you at 4 now?
What if I'm right at 5 experience?
Yeah, that means you've done it. You've leveled up. When you mark the 5th experience box in your playbook, you level up. You
How could
erase all.
how could I level up and not Trav?
You fucked up more than him. He rolls super good.
Oh, yeah. Well, then,
So-
yeah, I hit 5, yeah.
Then both of you get.
Can we get rid of the mythos that I roll super good? I just only do things that my character is good at.
Yeah. We're doing roll 20 now, so that's going to get rid of the mythos one way or the other.
Yeah.
Improvements. So get to choose from this list. Get +1 to a rating. Max +3. So if you want to increase one of your stats, you can do that. You can take another move from your playbook. Whenever you made your character, you had to pick specific moves to choose from. You can take a move from another playbook. And that makes that one's kind of a discussion between you and me, trying to find something that makes sense so that you don't like make an OP, like I can do magic and, transform into a big monster, which is one of the archetypes. You can gain an ally or gain a team. This is like a mechanical thing where you get an ally or a team who will then sort of be in your service, and you pick a different like type for them. Are they a subordinate that will follow your instructions? Are they a friend? Are they a bodyguard? Are they a confidant? And you just have them. You can gain a haven, which is actually something that the archetype, the expert, has. And that gives you sort of different abilities when you are back in your headquarters. And then you can upgrade your haven if you already have one. You have different things. Okay, so for Crooked, recover a big stash of money. So that would be one for Ned. Spell Slinger, you can take another combat magic pick. So maybe you will want to do that when you level up. So those are the things you can do. What are you guys feeling like, Ned and Duck?
I really thought about gain an ally, but I think I've already got that in Kirby. I think it might be a little redundant.
So what we could do is just make that official, because like before, Kirby was just an NPC in this world, and if you wanted to convince him to do something, you had to convince him to do something. If you choose gain an ally, gain a team, and you pick like what kind of ally you want him to be, then that's mechanical at that point. You don't have to like roll to convince him to do stuff. He will do stuff for you. So I don't think it's redundant. I think it codifies what is already there.
That's what I'd like to do. I would like to have somebody on this podcast do what I tell them to do. So yeah, let's go with him.
So you get to pick subordinate, lieutenant, friend, bodyguard, confidant, or backup. And those sort of add some flavor to like what Kirby's actually going to do for you. Also, keep in mind that like Kirby at this point doesn't know about the pine card, doesn't know about the things you do, and so if you
And we have been sworn to secrecy.
yeah, so if you do this, then that's fine, but you have to find some way to like rectify that, whether that's like letting Kirby in. That is one thing you could do, or, you know, whatever.
No, I think subordinate.
Okay, yeah.
I'm just going to really lean into the me telling him what to do.
Okay, and so like mechanically now, if you need Kirby to do something, instead of having to like convince him to do it, he's just your guy.
I got my claws in Kirby.
Okay,
Ew,
that's
gross.
that's very good. Duck, what about you?
Yeah, I'm picking up an additional point in tough. I know that's not very dramatic, but I feel like it is representative of the sort of off time that we've had. That makes sense to me.
Okay, so that'll bring you up to +3 tough, right? So that just means you
No,
will...
sir, +2 tough.
Oh, okay.
And you know, Justin, if you want to make it more dramatic, people can picture like a Rocky style montage where he's like
Sure.
lifting ice blocks and like punching stone or whatever. I've never seen Rocky, but I assume he punches stone a lot.
I know the idea of
Meat.
like...
He punches meat, sides of beef.
Well, maybe he punches both, Dad. You can punch more than one thing.
I know the idea of like the training montage is maybe a little bit rote for the purposes of our podcast, but what I really like about it in the in context of Duck is this idea of like Duck's abilities were maybe not his own for a bit. He just had these supernatural reflexes and could take a hit and stuff. And the training in his last episode was him actually trying to take some of the responsibility of that on himself. And I think that this is a smart choice for like making that mechanical. Okay. That is how improvements work. We're going to start doing these in Lunar Interlude style episodes. But for now, let's get back into the action. So at the end of the previous episode, Agent Stern from the FBI came into Amnesty Lodge and introduced himself, asking to see the Bigfoot video.
Daniel Stern
from
and his partner, Agent Pesci.
So that is where we find you. That's where us finds us. The last line there. My name is Agent Stern, FBI. At your earliest convenience, Mr. Chicane, I would just love to see the Bigfoot video.
All you have to do is go to the Cryptonomicon with me, and you can watch the video there.
Is it Cryptonomicon or Cryptonomica?
I don't know. Cryptonomica.
What a
Let's
great
look at what
start.
our merch says.
Yeah.
We got merch?
He says, oh, no, I know. I stopped by. Your associate, Kirby, suggested that there might be more of the video than what you're actually showing at the on the floor in your establishment. Also, I'd like to sort of talk to you about the details of how you acquired such a remarkable video.
Ah, well, of course you would. It's pretty breathtaking, isn't it?
One second, Ned. Could you show us like any kind of ID or anything to back up this whole I'm an agent?
I have my
thing?
driver's license.
No, Ned, what was it? Not you.
Oh, sorry.
Agent Stern looks kind of sheepish for a second, and he's like, "Oh God, of course. I'm sorry. What am I thinking?" And he reaches into his jacket.
Slow.
And, what are you slow?
Aubrey has had minor like juvie run-ins with law enforcement in the past. She is distrusting.
He reaches into his breast pocket and he pulls out a badge and like one of those little nice leather badge holders, whatever they call them, and opens it up to reveal a authentic looking ID badge that lists his name.
Should I roll to check for psychic paper?
It's, I guess, if you want to.
Well, what would a roll be where I could like determine?
It's not psychic paper. I don't want you to.
But if it seems legit or not, maybe read a bad situation. Yeah, I'm just gonna roll and we'll see how it goes. Oh, super good. I rolled a 10.
Okay, it's not psychic paper.
I know that's what I'm saying, but does this seem legit?
Yeah, it looks very legit. I mean, I don't know if you've ever seen an FBI badge before, but it definitely, you know for sure that this guy is on the level. His badge says he works for the FBI. There's the cool FBI seal there.
Aubrey has watched a lot of X-Files, so
Yes.
most of her FBI knowledge is from that.
The badge actually says the words underneath his sort of FBI designation. It says unexplained phenomena, and he says it's all right there. This it's actually expiring soon. My birthday's coming up, so I need to get this reauthorized. But yeah, I am a federal agent. I'm actually I work for a team called a small task force called UP, Unexplained Phenomena. Myself, I have been researching, well, for some time now, several disappearances that have been attributed to, and this is going to sound silly, and I understand you wanting to check my credentials because it probably sounds kind of goofy, but they are attributed to the Sasquatch. And when he says that, Barclay, who is sort of standing in this scene with his, he's collecting the cups of tea that you all were drinking on a tray. He like tips the tray over and they all smash down to the ground. He quickly cleans it up and leaves the room. And he says, the video that you, put up online, Ned, it looks remarkably similar to other video sightings that I've been researching for some time associated with these disappearances. And so I know it's kind of a long shot, but I just want to hear more about it. We don't have to talk today. I know you seem to be in the middle of a conversation here, so maybe we could circle back tomorrow, back at your shop, or sometime later this week, whatever works for you.
Well, of course, friend Stern.
He smiles.
I do like how over time Ned's character voice is kind of evolving into like Robin Hood a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Yes,
Yoink.
friends.
Yoinks and away, friend Stern.
He smiles when you agree to that and puts his badge away. And he takes a look around Amnesty Lodge, the lobby that you all are standing in again. And he says, say, I actually just arrived in Kepler. It's a beautiful town. The pines are gorgeous this time of year. I'm new to the area.
They're evergreen. They're gorgeous pretty much all year.
I see. Well, I'm new in town and I don't actually have a place to stay yet. This establishment seems very nice. I was wondering if there's a room available.
You don't want to stay here. Bed bugs.
You have...
Listen, if I could afford a better place than this, I would. This is a real flea bag. You don't.
This is going to be a roll, because this is a nice place that doesn't have bed bugs. I think this is going to be manipulate someone. When you have given them a reason, tell them what you want them to do and roll plus charm. The reason is bed bugs and what you want them to do is not stay here.
I got 5 + 1 to 6.
Mark experience. Hey, you leveled up.
Yeah, I leveled up.
Maybe decide which improvement you want on your own time and let me know.
Well, I see everybody else
what it is. Yeah, I mean, you can do it while we're playing here. So on a miss, I get to make a hard move. And the hard move, I say, is, a few bed bugs don't scare me. I've come prepared. I have my own sort of travel kit. I packed a lot of, tick and bug spray. I knew I was coming to a more rural area, and I'm always sort of prepared. So, if there is a room available, I would love to have it. And I think Barclay's back and doesn't really know what to say, and he says, "Yeah, okay, we'll get you checked in and get you a nice room, I guess." And he smiles and says, I'm going to continue sort of my search around the general area, sort of familiarize myself with the town, but I will be back this evening and we can set up the room. Thank you so much. Ned, tomorrow, just let me know what time works for you.
Yeah, right. Got it. Mm-hmm.
Real quick, I have picked Third Eye.
Ooh, what's that?
Because Third Eye, when you read a bad situation, you can open your third eye for a moment to take in extra information. Take plus 1 hold on any result of 7 or more. Plus, you can see invisible things.
Oh.
On a miss, you may still get 1 hold, but you're exposed to supernatural danger. Unfiltered reality is tough on the mind.
I love that. That's very cool.
I feel like it fits in, like, of her learning about magic and getting in touch with her own, like, kind of magic
I like that.
powers.
That's a cool development. Okay, go ahead and mark that down. And everybody should be at 0 experience at this point. Okay, and so Agent Stern turns on his heels and walks out the door, and Barclay puts his head in his hands and says, "Oh, shit. Oh, shit. This is going to make things real hard, y'all."
Well, as certainly people have come looking for you before, I have to assume, right?
I mean, it's not just me. This place is full of werewolves and vampires and ghouls and stuff. It's going to be tough to keep that under wraps with the feds literally under our noses.
It sounds like he's pretty Squatch focused, though, wouldn't you say?
He says, "Yeah, I guess as long as I keep this on," and he motions to his bracelet and says, I guess I can keep it on until he takes off. It gets a little stinky inside the...
Listen, Barclay, here's what you do. We'll take care of this. If he starts asking questions about, sightings or anything like that, just have everyone at the lodge laugh it off, right? Really play up the, this is a tourist trap thing, and we staged it. This is Kepler's whole thing. Make jokes about the Loch Ness Monster, that kind of thing. Really, make it seem as absurd as possible. Don't let anyone answer seriously.
Okay, yeah, that's good advice. I'll make sure to get the word out, and make sure that everybody keeps their illusions up. And
Side
again,
note, Loch Ness Monster, is that anything? Do you guys know anything about that?
I mean, I've never seen them. It doesn't mean that they're not
okay
here. And again, just one more time, Ned, thank you for posting that very cool video on the internet. I sure do appreciate all the cool stuff that's happened because of that, of me fighting the bobcat. It was really a really, really, really cool thing to have happened.
I remember that. That was the time I saved your damn life, right? When I pulled up and knocked the monster off of you and let you have a ride back to the lodge. Remember that part of it, Barclay?
Okay, square. All right, we got to get moving. I don't know when this water monster showed up, and I don't know how long they're going to stick around. So time's of the essence, but now we're on double super spy level of discretion. So head to the pool.
To the pool!
Yeah, to the pool. Just
I thought that would be where the scene ended.
No, not quite yet.
To the pool!
Okay. And you go to the pool.
Maybe there's some kind of transition here.
Yeah, do you take Ned's car?
With a spinning pine guard patch,
Maybe it's the hubcap of the Continental.
Oh yeah, and it's a spinning pine guard patch, and then it fades into the wheel.
Oh, that's fucking great, yeah. Travis.
This is why we should always record.
I know this energy is electrifying.
I can feel
it. So the three of you arrive at Kepler High. And I think I forget if we established this in the first episode of this arc, but I think it's Saturday. So the whole front parking lot is as empty as you would expect it to be.
Except for a couple cars for some kids that were in detention. And maybe they learned a little bit about each other,
and themselves.
One kid's kind of like a punk, and one kid's kind of a nerd, and one kid's kind of a jock.
One of the cars has a bumper sticker on the back that said, "I duct taped a kid's butt cheeks together."
Uh-huh.
That's still the most buck wild thing, right?
And I think it's super glue. Actually, is it super glue?
I don't know. Anyway,
he adhered a kid's butt cheeks together.
Yes,
somehow.
Through some means, magical or otherwise. So this school, Kepler High, it's a pretty humble building. Its student body is around 800. Duck, did you go here?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, so you have a little bit of familiarity with the building. Is it weird seeing the school in the same way that it's always weird to go back to a school that you went to when you're a big grown-up?
I don't think Duck has really had much reason to come back here. It's not like this is patrolling this as part of his route. That really wouldn't make much sense. I don't think he's been back for a good long time.
What kind of social group did you fall into?
What were you? Were you an Estevez? Were you a Hirsch? Were you a Ringwald?
Were you a Sheedy?
What kind of high school kid was Doug?
Were you a greaser?
A wastoid?
Were you a T-bird? Maybe you were a T-bird.
A real Bueller?
No, he was a bad boy.
Like a Bueller bad boy or like a Hirsch bad boy?
No, he was kind of a burnout.
All right.
That feels right to me.
I think we keep saying Judd Hirsch. I think it's Judd Nelson, isn't it?
Oh, yeah. Judd Hirsch would be a wild...
I love Judd
That'd be a wild casting choice. Okay, so you were kind of a wastoid, and then you discover the beauty of the pines and lived.
No, he just wanted to. He hid in the pines. I mean, I think it feeds into he wasn't somebody with an abiding love of the world. He wasn't somebody with a call to duty. He wasn't somebody who thought he was headed for big things. I think he would just
smoke cigarettes in the woods,
smoke cigarettes and fucking not in the woods. He wouldn't have gone to the woods. He just kind of wanted to play Tony Hawk and hang out.
Cool. I dig it.
And now he just vapes 24/7.
Now he just vapes constantly.
This is a good, which of our characters vape?
He's got a magic vape that can talk to him. Also, it's a separate from Beacon. So as the three of you work your way behind the building to this sort of standalone pool building behind the school, Duck, you're sort of reminiscing about all the good times here. But the three of you are a bit shaken as you turn the corner and you see the standalone pool facility, which has its own parking lot attached to an access road that winds around the campus. And in that lot are two vehicles. There's a fairly beaten up old Jeep and then a silver mid-sized bus parked immediately adjacent to it. And there's some belongings that are sort of scattered inside the bus. You can see through the windows, and from within the double doors leading into the pool building, you can hear a woman shouting. What do you do?
Aubrey takes off running for the building.
Can I do that as I read a bad situation?
Yeah, I think that would be good.
Oh, wait.
Roll 20, baby.
+1 is 11.
So Duck, hold 3, and you get to ask something from the list of questions here. If you act on the answers, you get +1 ongoing while the information is relevant. I'm trying to decide now if it makes more sense for you to do this, like the doors burst open and you can see inside, because then you will be able to tell like a lot more about this situation than you can.
I think that'll be a lot more logical, right? Like,
yeah. Okay.
The door opens and...
Then let me describe what happens next, and then we will resolve the questions that you do here. And so the three of you burst into the pool, and it is not empty, as Calvin mentioned it probably would be. As you enter, you see a woman outside of the pool. She's wearing a pair of shorts over a swimsuit, and she's got a whistle around her neck, and she is sort of yelling orders toward the pool, where a dozen or so older folks are treading water with these small floats that they are holding on to. And the door to the pool slams shut behind you, and the sound booms through the chamber, and it brings these proceedings to an immediate halt. And in unison, the whole assembly, instructor and class alike, they turn to face you. Because while swim practice might not be scheduled for today, water aerobics for the Majestic Pines Senior Living Center is. Hey everybody, this is Griffin McElroy, your dungeon master, your best friend, and your big old boy. Thanks for listening to episode 7 of the Adventure Zone Amnesty. Had to think about it there for a second, and I hope you enjoyed it, and thank you all so much for all of your support during the Max Fun Drive. You all came out and absolutely crushed it, and we are so grateful that you all chose to show your support for our show. It means a whole heck of a lot. Sorry to cuss. Got a few advertisements to talk about this week. First off, it's Blue Apron. Blue Apron's really tasty. They send you a box with pre-portioned ingredients and instructions on how to turn those ingredients into delicious home-cooked meals using things like knives and fire, mostly. I love Blue Apron. It taught me how to cook, and I had a whole bunch of really great meals thanks to this service, and then learned how to make even more great meals because of the great skills that I learned. Skills like heating and cutting food. Anyway, for 6 weeks from April 16th through May 21st, Blue Apron is teaming with Airbnb to bring you the best home cooking from around the world. Each week, our menu will their menu. Oops, now you know I'm reading it. Each week, their menu will feature a recipe developed in collaboration with an Airbnb Experiences host like Cece, a chef from Shanghai who makes incredible Kung Pao chicken, a beloved sticky, saucy mix of crispy browned chicken and vegetables. So check out this week's menu and get 3 free meals when you go to blueapron.com/adventure. Blue Apron, a better way to cook. Also, I want to tell you about Texture. Hey, stop. Listen. Have you ever walked by a newsstand and seen a stunning magazine cover that makes you want to stop and peek inside? With the Texture app, not only do you get a peek, you get the whole damn look at it of the magazine. Plus, unlimited access to over 200 additional premium titles like Time, The Atlantic, The New Yorker, and Wired. And right now, you can try Texture for free. Just imagine having your favorite magazines and their back issues anytime, anywhere. To start your Texture free trial, go to texture.com/adventure. If you choose to continue, listeners of our podcast will get Texture for just $9.99 a month. That's $9 $9.99. Just go to texture.com/adventure to start your free trial today. That's texture.com/adventure. One last time, texture.com/adventure. I have a Jumbotron here, and it's that I desperately want you to check out Cloud's Armory. Here's what they have to say. At Cloud's Armory, our creations come from wood, glass, metal, plastic, and stone. Our business crafts items of all kinds: armor, journals, dice towers, playmats, jewelry, dragon eyes, keychains, engraved photos, and more. I don't know why they included "and more." That's literally every object. The best part is that they're all customizable. And if there is something you want but don't see on our site, contact us and we'll find a way to create it and quote you a price. Enter the promo code TAZ, that's TAZ, or mention this ad in your custom order for 15% off your purchase. Just browse their goods at cloudsarmory.com, and if you want a custom designed item, just use their contact form and they'll make your fantasy come alive. All my fantasies? Because I got one that involves me on a rocket ship with my best friend. I couldn't think of anybody. Do I not have friends? Uh-oh. I also want to tell you all about Dames and Dragons, and I'm going to do so by reading this thing that they wrote. Do you want to experience the magic of Dungeons and Dragons, but you've made an oath to never speak to another human being? Do you want to watch a classic fantasy series, but can't stand the sight of human faces? Do you want to experience the genuine camaraderie of over 10 years of friendship with only your ears? Then listen to Dames and Dragons, a D&D 5e actual play podcast featuring an all-lady cast, the power of friendship, and primo dump humor. You got me. It's got to be rich with dump humor because you got me even with that teaser. Find it wherever podcasts are sold. And that means, Brookstone, I think, sells podcasts. I saw some at the checkout aisle at HEB, so check your grocery store. And then also probably like iTunes and the internet. Thank you so much for tweeting about the show using the Zonecast hashtag. It really means a lot when you spread the word like that. Most of our listenership comes from word of mouth. And so if you have a friend who you think might be interested in the story that we're telling, go ahead and tell them, and you use the hashtag the Zonecast if you're using Twitter, and you might end up as a character on the show. So that's still great, and you're still great. And thank you to Maximum Fun. Maximum Fun's still great. This is just a quick checkup on things that are still great. You can go to MaximumFun.org and check out all the great podcasts there. They're all for free, and they're all shows that you're just going to adore. Shows like Tights and Fights and The Greatest Generation and Stop Podcasting Yourself and Lady to Lady and so many more at MaximumFun.org. And if you want to hear other stuff that we do, you can go to McElroyShows.com. We're also we've got some tickets available for the book tour that we are doing for the Adventure Zone graphic novel. You can pre-order that now at theadventurezonecomic.com. And if you want to come to our book tour, there are still some tickets available. We're doing a few stops across the U.S. I know there's still tickets in Cincinnati, Ohio, where we're going to be speaking at the Taft, and I think a couple other ones. But yeah, you can find tickets to those at McElroyShows.com/tours. And while you're there, you can also grab tickets to some other live shows that we're doing for Mabim Bam and for Taz. So all of that at McElroyShows.com/tours. That is it for the advertisements for this week. Again, this is going to be the last of our weekly episodes. We are now getting back into our regular bi-weekly groove. We hope you enjoyed this nonstop stream, but we need to take a breath and live our lives again. So we will be back in 2 weeks on May 3rd. So we'll be back with the next episode of the Adventure Zone Amnesty then. Talk to you then. Bye. This instructor turns to face you all, and I think all of the folks exercising in the pool also kind of rotate to face you all, and the instructor says, pool's closed, folks. We just got started here. We got it booked for a couple hours. Do you need something? And this might be a good time, Duck, for you to read the situation now that you are inside. So if you have 3 hold if you want to ask these questions.
Okay, how about this? What's the biggest threat?
So what I think the biggest threat is an assumption that you are making, and you know that this is the pool where Calvin was attacked last night, and you have no reason to believe that whatever was in here got away. And based on what she just told you, they just got into the pool, and so nothing has popped off yet. But the biggest threat is the fact that there are a dozen people sort of helplessly swimming in this water that came alive last night and tried to kill a young man.
Okay, what is the best way to protect the victims?
The best way to protect everybody in this room is to get them out of the pool and ideally out of the building so that they don't, see a big water monster, assuming it rears its head. There's a lot of things about this situation that could break very bad for them, and there's a lot of ways that it could also sort of break very bad for the secrecy of the Pine Guards mission.
Okay. Are there any dangers we haven't noticed?
Duck, I think you're a bit startled as you come in and you see that there are, oh shit, there's people in here. But you catch out of the corner of your eye in the center of the pool, right above the drain where nobody's really swimming and exercising. They're all kind of up against the wall where the instructor is standing. You see a single large bubble come up from the drain and hit the surface of the pool and pop.
And it goes blah, 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 blah.
It goes blah, blah, I'm a spooky bubble.
Okay.
That is what you notice. So if you act on the answers, you get +1 ongoing while the information is relevant.
I have an idea.
Okay.
Ned's going to go over and speak to the instructor.
Okay. I mean, you're all sort of standing right, and like you are all sort of engaged in conversation with her.
How do you do? My name is Ned Chicane. You may know me from my local establishment, the Cryptonomica. And your name is?
My name is Hannah.
Hannah.
Named after Hannah Searson on Twitter. Thank you.
My mother's name was Hannah Searson. That is such a coincidence. Perhaps you didn't know this, but I work with the local television station, and I was watching my compatriots on Good Morning Kepler, and they had a public service announcement about your class here. And since I'm so closely tied with the Chamber of Commerce, I was thinking, this is wonderful therapy, the exercise, the swimming, the muscle toning, and all that. But have you heard about the hot springs out in back of Amnesty Lodge? I would have to think that would be much more healthy and much more therapeutic and good for your fine swimmers here than just swimming around in a chlorinated pool.
She looks at you and she says, I do remember hearing about the hot springs. I didn't think that would be quite large enough for the sort of water aerobics that I do.
It is. Well, no, but think about it. It's like those little pools that they show in the TV infomercials where you swim against the water.
It has an infinity jet in it? It's a hot spring, right?
It's the hot springs, and the water is flowing, and that would... I would have to think that would be much better for your constituents here rather than flopping around in the water, having that water pushing against them and the warmth and the natural minerals. It's very soothing. I don't know if you've been there, but for someone like me in his mid to late 30s, it's very relaxing.
She laughs and laughs and laughs. She laughs. She has a good belly laugh.
But having close relations with the lodge, I'm sure they would love to have you try out that facility. As a matter of fact, we just came from there, and it's empty. It's unoccupied, even as we speak.
Yeah, that sounds very promising. I'll tell you what. After this session, I will head straight there and see what I can find out.
Aubrey would like to cast a spell.
Okay.
She would like to make a chill breeze to blow over as Ned is talking about how warm.
Is this like a subtle thing? Like, a hot spring sounds... It's not like you were trying to like knock these people away. You're just subtly trying to influence the conversation with a cold wind. Okay.
That was a 12.
Okay.
Jesus. Get that pole right when you need it.
Yeah.
What does that mean?
I can inflict harm?
Yeah, I think that maybe this is use magic and not an attack.
That's what I'm saying. So I'm looking at it, and I think it's just kind of inflict harm, but I'm trying to inflict very impermanent, it is cold harm.
So this guy, can I just... I just want to drill down for a sec. This is the moment in the episode and in this arc where Travis is making a combat roll against some elderly wet senior citizens. Yeah. I just need to clarify that's exactly what's happening.
I rolled
currently.
a 12. I I have
Yeah, no,
crafted
you're
a
gonna
spell.
fucking demolish them. No question,
if-
Trav. You're
if-
absolutely gonna wreck these old people's shit.
No, I think it's not a combat roll. It's like it's use magic, and when you use magic, instead of just like attacking them, you get to choose an effect, and one of them is do one thing that is beyond human limitations, which is kind of a bucket thing. I think with a 12. Because you're not trying to hurt them, you don't hurt them, right? A 12 is an unconditional success. You do what you were
Do not
trying
want
to
to
do.
hurt these
so
olds.
I think that a couple of the windows were open over the bleachers, and I think from outside a kind of chilly breeze comes in. Is this weird, by the way? Because I wanted to sort of make more of a moment out of this, of Aubrey doing something that's not just explicitly like fire, fire, fire. This is not a fire thing. This
She's been
is
training.
Unless
Nice.
it is kind of a heat thing.
I mean, yeah, because the other option is to draw the heat out of the water.
Right.
It was one of those are the two things I was going back and forth of, like, chill breeze versus make the water colder. Doing use magic instead of combat, maybe she just kind of like pulls heat out of the water.
Okay, yeah, okay. The water starts to get very, not very cold, but
Colder.
unpleasantly
And this
cold.
is a thing that I know from Teresa working at a pool, that like people who are in the pool a lot and swim laps can like tell the difference when you drop it like a degree or
Yeah,
two.
for sure. Okay. I think as you are describing this hot spring, Ned, one of the swimmers says, that actually sounds real nice about now. This pool is, it's getting kind of chilly, and I'd like to heat up my bones, and I don't see why we can't do our, lifts and stuff in a warmer climb if they got room for us. And the rest of the people in the pool agree. And I think Hannah is kind of like pushing back against this, but she's like, oh, okay, fine. Everybody get your stuff. And, I guess we'll head up to Annecy Lodge. It's up Cliffside, right?
Sure.
Doc, what would be the best way for them to get there?
Duck, you see those bubbles? Now it's not just one. There's a lot of bubbles starting to appear in the middle of the pool.
You know what? Why don't I call in a transport? We got a lot of vans that we usually use to haul shrubbery and brush that we've collected, and I'll have them send a van down here.
Well, we
right away.
we have a van. It's not.
Well, that should have come up earlier, don't you think? That you had a van on hand. Here I am falling over myself, offering y'all vans. What a goose. All right. Well, why don't
I thought your name was Duck.
Yeah, it's a nickname. Well, listen, if you all got a van handy, why don't you hop in and get on a truck, and don't forget, don't worry about your clothes. We'll drive them up separate.
Why can't we take our clothes?
You need here, I'll get them. Duck runs to pick up their clothes. You all start loading in the vans, and I'll bring your clothes out to you. It's just another one of the many services we offer from the Forestry Service.
Is clothes? Oh, okay. I'm going.
Go.
I think because of, I know this seems a bit silly, but all of you have rolled very well here. I think they all sort of start climbing out of the pool, and in the single file line, they hurry out the door as Duck is picking up their clothes off the bleachers and just throwing them out the open doors. And soon, all of them.
He takes them to the van. The van's right there.
Okay.
He throws them in the van.
As he's doing this transport, everybody's outside. You and Ned see the bubbles getting faster and faster, and then they stop. And Duck, you finish taking all of their stuff out to the car, and you hear the engines kick on and drive off, and the doors close behind you. And now you are all together, and the water is motionless just for a moment. And then a ripple extends from the center of the pool. And as it reaches the perimeter, the water around the edges of the pool starts to recede as if called back by a tidal pull. And the water collects at the center, forming a small mound. And then the water splashes upward from the center of the pool, and the mound explodes. A primitive hand reaches upward several feet, grasping at nothing before collapsing back into the pool. 3 identical cylindrical pillars of water lift from the surface and then recede just as quickly. 2 waves form at either end of the pool and splash together, hanging there for just a moment before dropping. The water takes several shapes quickly before settling on one, a tendril reaches upward from the center of the pool, writhing about, throwing water all around the room before standing perfectly straight up 10 feet into the air.
Well, Dunk, read a bad situation, please.
Okay. I think this is probably a more reasonable time for you to do that.
I go ahead and draw beacon, by the way.
Yeah, roll a 9 plus 1, 10.
Okay. Go ahead and ask your questions.
This is the thing, because a lot of these are very straightforward. Like, what's the biggest threat? Probably that big water tendril.
Yeah.
I'm going to say what's most vulnerable to me.
I think with that, I can tell you, do not get in that water. You know that what is vulnerable to you is, like, your breath. And you...
No, I mean, I think it means, like, what's vulnerable to me
to
attack.
To attack. Yeah, that's tough. That's tough for me to describe to you. I think that you... logically know that like the water in the tendril is the thinnest. You can't like shoot something into the pool, right?
Well, let me start with then my magic eye.
Okay.
Which is actually third eye. Magic eye is the posters.
Yeah, you blur your eyes, you get it real close to the water, and sort of the shape starts to take. What does that look like to you? Describe what the third eye.
Well, I would. I envision it. So there's a thing in the Dresden Files, so they talk about wizard sight, and I always imagine it kind of like if you switched over to the negative, like in a photo, except in the negative, I could see the things.
I like that. So like inverse color sort of thing. Okay. Yeah, that's neat. You see, I think even with your third eye, you see faintly, not in the tendril, but actually in the water, under the tendril, several feet deep in the water, you see that yellow light that Calvin described yesterday. And you are the only one that can see it. Ned and Duck, you just see the pool and you just see the tendril. But with your magic sight, you see this shape in the water. And then if you are asking what is most vulnerable to you, it's whatever that thing is.
Okay, so next question, what's the best way out?
Either the door or the windows over the bleachers.
Okay,
You have one more, I think, if you want to
start backing towards the doors. What's the best way to protect the victims? Which I guess are us.
The three of you. I mean, the best way to protect the victims is to not get in the water and get as far away from this thing as is possible. But I mean, you also know that like you're going to have to fight this thing eventually. And so whatever you can learn.
Okay.
So Aubrey, after sort of reading it, that tendril, which was sort of poking straight up before, it kind of bends and crooks towards the middle and sort of almost like it looks in your direction, like it is eyeing the three of you, still in the middle of the pool, still like a little bit of a ways away from you, but it seems to have noticed you. Ned, what are you up to?
Ned climbs the high dive, starts up the ladder, climbs up the high dive.
Okay.
Gonna hit him with a foon.
Ostensibly to get away from whatever's going on, but I think he's going up there to get a higher perspective that maybe looking down on it visually, that it'll tell him more about the situation than being on eye level with it.
Okay, I don't think it's like a super high dive because that to me seems like weird pacing, like, oh no, let me climb this ladder for 30 seconds. But I think it definitely puts you at eye level and you are on this high dive. And it sounds like investigate a mystery, right? Which is less, I know it seems like that's all you guys are doing right now, but that's kind of...
We know nothing.
Right, this is sort of a research gathering mission. And investigate a mystery is more about like what the monster is and not what immediate danger you all are in.
So I rolled a 9 plus 2 for
these
sharp.
Fucking rolls. You guys are killing it. Hopefully, when you actually fight this thing, you guys will fuck up a bunch. That's my dream.
What sort of creature is it?
Here's what this is one of those situations where like the answer is so obvious that I won't charge you one of the hold two, because I think you can't see what Aubrey sees. What sort of creature it is shape-shifting water. And it's taking a different shape than the one that Calvin described yesterday, so you assume that it's got a few tricks up its sleeve. But what sort of creature it is a big shape-shifting water monster, but I won't charge you a hold for that because that's sort of obvious.
All right, then what can it do?
Okay, I think the way that we resolve this is the tendril notices you climb up the high dive and get on eye level with you, and the tendril starts to move in your direction, like not just the tip of the tendril, but like the shape itself, the base of it moves across the surface of the water. So it seems to be able to move around to do whatever it wants
I've got it. You guys. Old people in a pool. Energy in the pool. This is a cocoon situation.
Cocoon. We've got a cocoon situation.
We have got a full-blown cocoon.
You have one more question, Ned.
Well, if it's zooming at me, I'm going to want to know what can hurt it.
You get the impression, getting an eye full of this tendril right now. You still don't know what this monster is, right? But you know that if you can sever this tendril, if you can sever this aquatic tentacle, it will go away. That doesn't necessarily mean you've killed the beast or whatever, but you get the idea